Have you ever wondered if satellites can do more than just take pictures of Earth? Like, could they actually identify what's growing down there?
It might sound like something straight out of science fiction, but the answer is, yes.
Wait, really? So we're talking about telling if a field is full of corn or wheat just from space?
You got it. We're diving into a study done in France, actually, that explores how satellites can identify crops using radar.
Okay, so France. Interesting. But why radar? I always thought satellites just use sunlight to, take pictures.
That's the usual way. It's called passive remote sensing, just capturing reflected light. But radar, well, that's active remote sensing.
Active, what does that mean?
Think of it like a bat sending out sound waves and listening for the echoes.
Echolocation.
Exactly. The Sentinel-1 satellite, the one used in this study, sends out radio waves and measures how they bounce back. So even at night or on cloudy days, it can gather data.
So it's like the satellite can see through the clouds using sound.
Not sound exactly, but radio waves. And just like different materials reflect sound differently, they also reflect radio waves differently.
Okay, that makes sense. But I'm still a bit fuzzy on how radar can tell the difference between different crops. Like, how can it tell rice from corn?
Imagine you're trying to identify different fruits just by touch, right? You'd use things like texture, size, and shape to tell a grapefruit from an orange.
Oh, I see. So the radar's kind of feeling the crops.
It's similar to that, yeah. And the researchers in this study took it a step further. They used something called recurrent neural networks, or RNNs, to analyze the radar data.
RNNs. That sounds like AI is getting involved.
It is. RNNs are a type of AI that's really good at picking up on patterns that change over time.
So instead of just one snapshot, they're looking at how the radar signals change over time, like a time lapse.
Exactly. It's like watching the crops grow and picking up on subtle differences between them.
Wow, this is fascinating. But how did they teach the AI to recognize those patterns in the first place?
Well, remember I mentioned the study was done in France, in the Camargue region?
Yeah.
Well, they had 921 plots of land there that they were studying. And the key thing is they already knew exactly what was growing in each plot. From ground surveys, they had what's called ground truth data.
So it's like they gave the AI a cheat sheet, like this is rice, this is corn, now go figure out how to tell them apart using radar.
Precisely. And they didn't just take one measurement. They collected data from those plots 25 times between May and September of 2017.
25 times. Wow, that's a lot of data.
It is. We're talking over 66,000 individual pixels of data, each one representing a tiny piece of a field that the AI had to analyze over time.
Okay, so 2 AI detectives, tons of radar data, and a cheat sheet of what was actually growing. What happened next?
Well, this is where things get really interesting. Remember we talked about those different radar polarizations, VH and VV?
Yeah.
They took all that data with the ground truth info and fed it into the LSTM and GRU models. Those are 2 different types of RNNs, like 2 different flavors of AI.
Okay, so they basically ran the experiment. Did it work? Could the AI actually identify the crops?
The results were incredible. The LSTM model was able to identify rice with 96% accuracy.
96%. That's really good.
It is. But the GRU model, get this, it hit 97% accuracy.
97%. That's practically perfect.
They basically aced the test. And to make sure this wasn't just a fluke, they also compared their approach to some older methods of analyzing data, things like k-nearest neighbors and support vector machines.
I'm guessing those older methods didn't stand a chance against the AI.
Let's just say the AI demonstrated a significant improvement.
So we're talking about being able to identify crops from space with almost perfect accuracy. Are there things this radar tech just can't do? What are, like, the limits?
Well, like I said, it's not magic. There are still things that can affect the readings.
Oh, right. You mentioned that before. The atmosphere, the surface.
Yeah, all that stuff. The angle of the satellite matters, too.
So we can't just assume every radar image is, like, 100% accurate.
Right. It's not enough to just look at the images. You need experts to analyze the data, find the patterns, make sure we're interpreting things correctly.
It sounds like there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
There is. And we got to keep pushing the boundaries, too. More research, better algorithms, that kind of thing.
So we're still just at the beginning, really.
In a lot of ways, yeah. There's so much potential to unlock, so much more to learn about our planet.
Well, this has been an awesome deep dive. We've gone from the technical stuff about radar all the way to these huge implications for the future.
It's been a blast.
We've seen how this tech can identify crops, protect the environment, even help us during disasters.
It really is an amazing tool.
And it sounds like the possibilities are just beginning.
They are.
That's what makes it so exciting.
Sure.
Well, thanks for joining us today, everyone. We hope this deep dive has left you with a sense of wonder about what we can achieve with technology and with a bit of that, that drive to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself.